Well, hello and welcome. I think this is working now. Uh, you're probably wondering who this grumpy, boring old fart is, aren't you? Well, in answer to that question, I can do no more than quote a few words from the opening chapter of my biography, A Study in Genius, which unfortunately was never published due to a number of technical problems. My ghostwriter getting a better offer, not the least of them, and certain criminal elements worried that I might have revealed the whereabouts of their loot. The fire that destroyed the manuscript is still explained to this day. But from the ashes I found part of the first draft, which I shall look at if you read it. I shall quote from it as follows. It says, born at an early age, I spent my misspent youth at a highly regarded approved school whilst in intensive training to become a professional freestyle pipe smoker. Uh, with an optional degree in the black art of cadging other people's fags. I should explain here that here in the UK a fag means cigarette. In America I believe it means a lady of easy virtue, so she's probably more important than having a cigarette, but there we are. This together with my doctorate in advanced alcoholism, my paper on the time taken to fall over following the intake of vast quantities of Green King IPA, as opposed to the time taken for John Smith's IPA to have the same effect, is still, I'm pleased to say, quoted as the seminal work on the subject. I do admit, of course, to being around in the 60s, and I'm intended my proudest moment was my presence at the Grosvenor Square riots in 1968. That was the anti-Vietnam thing. Nothing to think of it, you understand, but right at the back, offering some well-chosen words of advice as the lads moved forward to throw marbles under the police horses' hooves, which we all thought was a bad thing, most unfair that, not playing the game. But I left, before it ended, because basically I didn't want to get blood on my nice new duffel coat. Um, I'm supposed to be in semi-retirement. I'm getting to that stage of life known as the boring old fart stage. Mind you, on the plus side, around my town, here in Essex, it's rather like growing old disgustingly and giving the merry old two fingers to all those boring old grey suits who bang on about the merits of teamwork, working 24/7, and no job being for life, and what everybody must welcome retraining in order to stack Tesco's or any other supermarket shelves, and how you should really start thinking about a pension when you're 18. So now you know all about it. Let's get on with the first rant, because as is well known, well, you didn't know this, but you're going to know it now, according to Sunday newspapers, those of us who live here in Essex, about 20 miles outside London, like nothing better than a good dinner party. Yeah, well, that's what they told me. So should you be invited to one, and there's a lull in the conversation, might I suggest throwing in this tidbit of totally useless information, to wit, your average saltwater Australian crocodile just hates the smell of cigarette smoke. In fact, it sends the poor darlings ballistic. Mind you, what it does to their freshwater friends is anybody's guess, but rumour has it they're not over keen on the smell of fish and chips, so don't you go offering many of yours. This information, by the way, came to me whilst having nothing better to do. When I was watching one of those boring nature films, featuring the transporting of crocodiles by aircraft in the Australian outback. Now, please don't ask why any self-respecting crocodile would want to fly when he could swim, but there he was, this crocodile, stretched out, having 40 winks in that aircraft high over the outback, when the pilot, as one does on these occasions, felt the need of a cigarette coming on. Oh dear. Bad move on the part of the pilot, because said beast, acting like a born-again non-smoker, took umbrage and began to act like a drunken hooligan, smashing the aircraft up. At which point, the pilot put the aircraft down on a forced landing. The beast escaped and made for the nearest river, not to be seen again. Now, what concerns me, is just how did this crocodile and his mates come to hate the smell of cigarettes in the first place? I mean, did some kindly Australian hunter, cork swinging from his hat, offer his quarry a final cigarette before he shot him? And did the rest of that crocodile tribe, safe in the river watching this, figure that accepting free cigarettes from passing hunters was a bad career move? But there's always one, isn't there? One who leads the rest astray. So right now I suspect there's a pack of Australian crocodiles laying around under some bush, flashing the ash, and as being from that nation, of course, no doubt swinging back the old 4X Fosters as well. And I just hope that they never discover the joys of football supporting, because they'll end up by having tattoos of Chelsea or Manchester United or West Ham United logos tattooed on their flanks. Then there'd be a right menace. Now there's a thought. What better way of dealing with our own homegrown soccer hooligans than having a crocodile, having them for tea? And of course, those smoking crocodiles could have another usage. Get rid of some of the blades on the Vomit Express out of Liverpool Street Station in London, who insist on swigging the booze away and sort of spewing up all over the carriage. Mind you, if I could also get them to eat all those that seem to insist on munching their way through Big Macs, Kentucky Fried Chickens, pizza and God knows what else, then I for one would be very happy. But I'm going to leave you with a little joke. Seems there was this taxi driver one night picks up a nun, and what happened was that he picked this nun up, and they're driving along, and he keeps looking in the rearview mirror at this nun, and she's looking at him, watching him. She says, "What are you looking at?" And he said, "I'm sorry about this, sister. I just like nuns. I've just got this fantasy about wanting to kiss a nun." She says, "Kiss a nun?" He said, "Yes, kiss a nun." "Oh, right." She said, so it's a subtle act. She said, "Are you Catholic?" He said, Yeah. "Single?" "Oh, yeah. Okay. Turn left down here," and they turn down this little country lane, find a lay-by, and he climbs in the back, and a big, fairly heavy snogging session happens. He's kissing away, and she's happy about this, isn't she? Eventually, it all comes to a conclusion. She lets him go, have a happy smile, and he gets in the front of the cab and starts driving her where she wants to go. And she's looking at him through the rearview mirror again, and suddenly she sees tears coming out of his eyes, and she said, "What are you crying for?" "Oh, well, sister, I've sinned. Oh, I have sinned terribly." "Oh, tell me about it," she says, this nun. "Oh, yeah, well, you see, I'm not Catholic, and I'm not single. See, I'm Jewish. I'm married, and I've got 4 kids." She said, "Oh, that's a bit of a drag, isn't it? Still, never mind. I'm not really a nun. I'm going to a fancy dress party, and my name's Kevin." On which note, I shall say goodbye. Thanks for watching. I'll be back again soon with another little rant from here in Essex. Bye for now.